Hi, my name is Mike Letsky. I'm the owner of Future Gen Technologies and Robotics. We're an AI company. We specialize in artificial intelligence for business, custom AI solutions. We also make robotics products as well. But here we're talking about AI inbound voice agents to help answer your calls when you can't be at the phone, but you need someone to answer the phone to qualify leads, to check your availability in your calendar and make the appointment if the lead qualifies and you want that appointment made for them. To save you time, it saves you overhead costs, it saves you money. And here's I'm going to show you how I've made our Maya AI product, which is a virtual receptionist, using Bland AI and Make. When you first log in and register to Bland AI, you're going to see this screen here. This is the home screen. You're going to see boxes for conversational pathways. I'm going to talk a lot about those because that's what we use, and I'll explain to you why. You can also use Bland AI to make outbound calls. So if you want the voice agent to go ahead and call outbound to make sales or to follow up with customers or re-engage with old leads, then you can go ahead and do outbound calling as well. You can have dedicated phone numbers. You can select voices that you like or clone voices that you may have internally. And you can always purchase more credits for Bland AI. So for inbound calling, what I needed to do was I needed to have an inbound phone number, a phone number that people can call and make appointments. So I'm going to move this loom over. And I'll just resize this a little bit here. Okay. So we go to phone numbers. You'll see that this is the phone number that we have for our AI voice agent for Maya AI. And if we go into configuration and we go to configure it, you get to, this is the basic general settings here. You get to select the models, base. The base model is if you have an exact script that you just want it to follow and you don't want it really to go off on that. From a generic point of view, it will follow, it will do that in the base model. Enhanced is faster. It's more conversational. It's more human-like. It's not very robotic. It's very human-like, actually. And it has a little leeway. It talks to you like a human. This is how we get my AI for us to qualify leads. It actually starts a conversation and asks you more questions without us having to account and program for every single thing that you might say. It will be able to do that. And then there's Turbo, which is super fast. This is more like this is like your fine tuning. Once you're pleased and you're happy with it, you could try Turbo, see if it speeds things up a little bit. But I found so far with my experience with Bland AI is that the enhanced model actually worked best for what we were doing. So we have it on enhanced. Now in this is the rest of it is general setup. It's just very generalized. It's general setup. It's not what I went with configuring. I went with conversational pathways, but I'll walk through general setup here for the phone number. Here is the voice. You can select different voices that are built in. There are public voices that are publicly available from other users. There's bland curated voices and clone voices that the company Bland AI makes. You just have to go through them and select the ones that you want, or the one that you want, the one that sounds best for you, or upload your own. That's what that voice one is about. Background audio, it's if you want background music. We don't have background music in Maya. We just wanted to make sure that Maya AI was very clear in the audio. And so, yeah, we didn't choose music, but you might want background music for your voice agent. The first sentence here is the first sentence that the AI agent will always say. We don't have a first sentence in set up here in a general sense. Everything is done in conversational pathways. But the first sentence is exactly that. It'll say the first sentence every time for every caller, no matter what, exactly the same way. Prompt. The prompt is more like your ChatGPT type prompt for Bland AI, but this is if you don't want it to follow a generic structure and have predictable outcomes. You can tell it something like, speak in an energetic voice and tell them about my nutrition company, or invite them to the restaurant during this holiday sale. Sound upbeat when you do it, or whatever the case is for your use case. You can tell it like how to behave, and you can give it prompts like be energetic or be professional. Things like that. So you should know prompts engineering for voice AI. You should learn a little bit about that. You might spend a little time iterating in development just to make sure it sounds right for your customer, it sounds right for you, for your business, and that you're happy with it. But again, this prompt, as long as you're going to make it, you're going to give it background information. You're going to give it tell it what to do from a general sense, and it's going to follow that generally, unless you have that script in the basic model. The script, it'll just follow exact, but this is more for just a general sense. And then the language that you're choosing, I'm choosing English. Any pathway IDs for internal pathways here. This is where you could also set generic transfer number to transfer to your cell phone or another phone number in case somebody wants to talk to a live agent. Any word specific that guides, they might be unique words that you like to use or your business use that aren't already like standard words. We don't use that. We found everything that we need is really built in, so it's nothing that we have to worry about. You could record the calls. You could ignore button presses. You could do noise cancellation. You turn all those on. The interruption threshold, that's something we find 100 milliseconds is very comfortable with. You can change that setting as desired depending on when you do your testing, your iterative testing. You'll just find out like, hey, we need more time, or the customer needs more time to answer the questions that you're going to have AI ask to qualify leads or set the appointment or whatever the use case is there. And then these are webhooks for integration. We do this in other parts of the application, and you can integrate it with data. So if you needed to provide order status, for example, if a customer is calling you, hey, what's the status of my order? With dynamic data, it could query your database or your CRM and find the information out in real time on the call while it's talking, and go ahead and provide that information to the customer on the phone like that. We didn't have the need for that, so we didn't use that. Now, what we used is conversational pathways, and I'll go to that. When you first get to conversational pathways, conversational pathways is a very more is a structured approach. You want consistency, you want desired outcomes, you want predictable conversation flows. You want to guarantee consistency, and so the way to do that is with conversational pathways. When you first open up and create a generic pathway, it's going to create this restaurant model. You might have it already in there if you go there. The restaurant is a template. It's not production ready, but it shows you an example of how a conversational pathway would be structured for restaurants. And what the best practice, what we found is easy to do. Instead of creating your own from scratch, you just copy and clone the restaurant one here. You can duplicate it, and then you can customize it. And here we made our own appointment setter, and I'll walk through that. So we're gonna view the production pathway. All right. So a couple of things you should. So here's our start block. Everything starts with start block, and so we call ours Maya AI, Maya AI for Maya, and we tell it as soon as it starts, enthusiastically welcome the caller to Future Gen Technologies. Ask the caller if they want to make an appointment for custom AI solutions. Consultation for AI for their business. Okay. And then each node has a more controls that you can go into if you need to control what happens after each node. But for most use cases, I found that Bland really does a great job of doing this out of the box, and that I didn't need to set any other additional properties here. So I tell it to enthusiastically welcome the caller to Future Gen Technologies. Why? I wanted a Tigger. I didn't want Eeyore, right? So Tigger answers the phone, Eeyore does not. And so when the user responds, we ask for the caller's name, date, and time. Ask each question one at a time. You must get the exact date for the consultation reservation, not the day of the week, but the exact date. So, we don't want Tuesday. Maya might not know which Tuesday that is. In the calendar, we want the exact date. So we specify to the voice agent, to Bland, we want the exact date. And then we tell the loop condition to pass, to move to the next node. We tell it you must obtain the name, date, and time for the reservation. In other words, it's not going to go past this node block unless it gets the name, date, and time for the reservation. So there's that. Now, there's some global variables here. We want it to be able to answer questions about our company, Future Gen Technologies. We wanted it to be able to have a knowledge base on frequently asked questions. So there's a knowledge base here feature that we set up. So answer any questions that may have, in here, it was put in. So store hours, knowledge, we put in our knowledge base, our store hours, location. We put everything here in this knowledge base section right here. So if you asked Maya AI about anything about the company, they would be able to answer, and Maya would know about itself and how it's made and what it needs. So it's in there. Or if for any reason you didn't like talking to Maya and you want to speak to a human, we have it set up so that at any point during the call, doesn't matter what node you're on, it will transfer the phone call to a live person, and that's our phone number there. Now it's going to get our calendar, and we're using Make. Make.com is it's a no-code tool. It's a better integration. I find it works better, is more affordable than Zapier is. It's a Zapier alternative. Make.com has over 5,000 built-in applications. So you're really just building on the shoulders of giants instead of recreating the wheel each time. Time is money, so you want to be able to be faster with your development. And I'll show you Make after I walk through this as well, how I have Make set up. So then it checks the availability, and it gets the time, and it's looking at my Google Calendar. I find that Google actually integrates better than Outlook does. This is especially true when you're setting appointments or you want to send calendar invites to other people, and you can have more information input. It's just a smoother integration in Google Calendar than it is in Outlook. It still works. It'll set times generically in Outlook, but this is not a bland problem. This is a Make problem. I prefer the Google Calendar with Make, and I'll dive into that later. So if the time slot is unavailable that the caller wanted, then it's going to find a new time slot, and it's going to loop until it finds the correct an available time slot. And it goes back and forth with the user on the phone just to say, hey, that time wasn't available. How about this alternate time? And when the time slot is available or the customer says reserve, then it makes the reservation and it puts it into the calendar, and it ends the call. It tells the user you made the reservation, and you look forward to seeing them and say goodbye. So that's this part here. Now I'll pull up Make.com and the back end for this, and I'll show you how that's set up. So here is Make.com, and I have two active scenarios that I am using. The first one is a create Google event from call pathway. So here I define a webhook, custom webhook. This is the webhook that goes into Bland AI. So Bland AI calls this webhook and say, okay, I'm going to pass you the information. Here we're setting variables. So remember we want a date, time, right? We want a date, time, exact specific date and time, right? So here we got the date. Here we got the time. Here we're getting the name, the caller's name. For the reservation, here we're obtaining the phone number. We're just getting the phone number that they called in on by default. And then we're creating the Google Calendar event right here. And so here it's taking the information for the reservation. This is creating the reservation, and we create an event in detail. This is what I'm talking about. a lot more detail that you can put in a Google Calendar instead of an Outlook. Right here, I think better integration with Make.com and Google. Currently, at least that's my experience. But I have, in the event name, appointment with me, Mike Letsky from FutureGen Technologies, on the date, at the time, the contact phone number, and the reason that they provided the AI solution for the business, or if they had something more specific, they would have put it. They would have told Maya, and Maya would have captured that their business type, and then was created on, and then it would start that calendar and send them that invite as well. And then this is the outgoing webhook response that would also feed back into the Bland AI to provide the voice agent with the information of the calendar that was created to know that the reservation was completed. Now, here's what it calls before that. It wants to find the busy time on the calendar, on the Google Calendar, so it knows when the busy time slots are. If it knows the busy time slots, then it knows when you're available. Okay, so again, here's a webhook. The webhook is what Bland uses in that node that says, hey, let me know when I want to figure out the available times. We get the requested date. We're getting the end requested date. We're getting the Google Calendar, my Google Calendar. And here we're saying we want the date. Here's the time. The maximum time that we have that. I have that just as a standard default. I think it's an hour. And then we put that in there. So it pulls up my Google Calendar. It's synced to the Google Calendar. And then I call this iterator. It gives me an array of all my busy times for that area. And then I pump it out in JSON. So we take it and we just format it. We format it out in JSON structure, which is digestible then by the Bland AI system, which feeds into the Maya AI conversational product. So that is what is being used here, right? We're telling the prompt here, we're telling the Bland AI system to check the reservation date and time and make sure it's not contained in when we're in the busy time slots. So if it's not in the busy time slot from the calendar, Make.com is providing here an array of all the busy time slots in the calendar. And this prompt here, this node is saying, hey, the user wanted a specific date and time. As long as that date and time is not in the busy list, then we're free. Make the reservation. Let's go. Let's do that, right? So that's the hard work that it's doing right there to make the reservation behind the scenes, and it's super important. So this has allowed me in my business to create up a lot of free time. I'm a small business owner. I have 2 other developers. We're working on development most of the time. I'm the only customer-facing person. We don't really have revenues to hire a human being. We don't get so many phone calls where we need someone full-time. But Maya could handle thousands and thousands and thousands of calls at a minute, so it really wouldn't matter there. I mean, if all the task is to do is qualify leads and schedule appointments or provide order status or answer questions about the company or customer service tasks or stuff, the voice agent can handle all of that and that sort of stuff. So that's the high level, the basic high level of our Maya AI appointment setter version. 25 or so minutes after about a month and a half, 2 months of learning the system and iterating on development and stuff like that. I'm happy to share it with you. If you need an AI solution for your company, let me know. If you want the Maya AI voice agent for your company as well, hit me up, let us know, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.